Good morning, grade 12, and welcome to the Kuier Rapport Matriekklas of 2021. So, today we're going to kick it up a notch. Last week we started with advertising and we did visual literacy and a few other things, and we did the most basic. Today we're going to kick it up and we're going to explore a little bit more. So if you look at the presentation, you'll notice that it says advertising, and what you'll see there is a picture of a man. I'm going to close this, you can't see that, okay? Just forget that you saw that. If you look at the man, you'll notice he is completely covered in plaster of Paris and only his head is safe. If you had to hazard a guess in terms of what they were advertising, okay, you would notice that his head is the only thing that's safe. So it must be something that's protecting his head, okay? Now, why did I choose this ad? Because I think it so aptly explains the idea of appealing to one's emotions, getting you to go and buy this product, speaking to, grabbing attention, is covered in white, the desire to be alive. It covers the AIDA principle, and that, grade 12, is what advertising is all about. Right, so this is just a little definition, and what does it say? It says it is a message designed to promote a product, a service, or an idea. So not just something that you can buy, something that you can hire, a service, an idea, something where you can become a teacher online, which is an idea, okay? And the messages are then shown to the public. How? Media, newspaper, magazines, radio, TV, billboards. So anywhere they can blast out a picture of this particular product is where they will do it. But now, there is the language of advertising. So there are certain words that you need to know when you're going to write the paper. Okay, so remember, the purpose of the lesson is to prep you for the exams. It is to prep you to be able to answer visual literacy questions based on advertising and the cartoon. So, remember the picture, and now we know what advertising is. We know how it is blasted out into the world. Now we're going to look at the technicality, the words that we need to know. What do we need to know? So, an ad is made for a particular group of people, and those people are called the target audience. The picture on the other side, I haven't posted the picture for you to look at questions or to consider questions. I want you to be able to identify these terms and match them with a picture. I'm not going to do it for you. When you go through these slides at a later stage, you'll be able to do that as an exercise. So, target audience, who are they? The target audience are ultimately the people who are being targeted to buy this product. They are the consumers who the ad is aimed at. However, when you are in the venue, when you are sitting and writing, you are that audience. You become the people that must buy the product. So you become the student that it's aimed at. You become the mother with a child that it's aimed at. You become the athlete. So you put yourself in the shoe of the target audience so that you understand how you are supposed to be feeling, and that in turn will help you decide whether or not that advert is indeed successful. Other words, headline. There will be a little message there. It will pop up. That's the headline. It's almost like it tells you what the ad's about. Imagery and images. If you look at the lady there, then clearly before you read anything, then you can see, whoa, she's an athlete, eh? She's looking very fit and ready to do this. So clearly, something to do with sport is being advertised. Slogan or logo, come train with us. Let's do this. Okay, what is the product? Now remember, we spoke about product, idea, or something else being sold. What is this? Is this a product? Is it an idea? It is what? Something to help you become fit. So you're not going to go and say, oh, I'm going to buy this gym, or I'm going to buy this woman, or I'm going to buy whatever. You are going to join the gym and you're going to become fit. Come train with us. Okay? So the product is something, it's a gym membership that you can buy. Then the target market is the same thing as the target audience. It's just that I've included both because you might become confused in terms of market and audience, but it's basically who it's directed at, who the ad is directed at, okay? Then the brand. The brand name would be who is selling this product, okay? So it could be a sports product, it could be Adidas. If it is magazines, it could be Kuier magazine. So you need Media 24. Those are the brands where those products are coming from. And then you have to know, very important, what are persuasive techniques in advertising. What are persuasive techniques? If you listen to the word persuasive, then it comes from the root persuade. Okay? And what does that mean? It means they get you to do something that they want you to do, which ultimately with advertising is to buy their product. Right, so on this slide you'll notice that I've explained the AIDA principle. Why? Because generally that is how teachers teach advertising. Now, the AIDA principle, the A is for attention, I is for interest, D, create a desire to own the product, and the last A is to get you to go over into action and actually buy it. Basically, grade 12, the previous slide I spoke about persuasive techniques. Now, the AIDA principle is all of those techniques rolled into one. What do I mean? If an ad can get you attention, get you to look at it, what is the next thing you're going to do? You are going to want to look at the rest of the ad. So if you see a fabulous picture, now they've gotten your attention. Then they say, and if you remember the previous picture, you see this woman. Okay, let's just go back to that actually. So you see the woman. So now, what have we got? Attention. And interest. You would like to look like that woman. Okay? Now the next one is the desire to own the ability to look like the woman. So you're going to join the gym. How are you going to take action and join the gym? Join the gym. They've given you the option of 25% off. So do you understand how the AIDA principle is one sort of idea that is broken up into little ones, but are all persuasive techniques to ultimately get you to buy their product? Let me explain a little bit further. How do they attract attention? I don't know if you're able to see the fork quite clearly. It's basically, the ad is for the Hard Rock Cafe, okay? And the fork looks like the hand sign, yay, okay? So now, they got your attention with that because it's a fork. Oh, wow, and when you look closer, you notice that the fork spikes have been bent into a particular sign. And if you look at what's being advertised, Hard Rock, then you understand why the picture and the words are now speaking to each other. So they've gotten your attention. So there is your eye-catching image, clever use of language, Hard Rock, and linking it to the picture. You have an attractive layout because it's red and there's a fork. Now, if you know the Hard Rock Cafe, then you know that it is a restaurant. Hence the fork, okay? But the idea of Hard Rock and the way in which the fork represents the hard rock makes you realize that this is a place you want to eat at. And now they've only gotten your attention. There is no interest or desire or action yet. This is just your attention. And this is how you tell if it's a good ad. Okay? The layout is attractive because it's plain. It's just good food at a good restaurant. There's no question, which they can do. They can pose rhetorical questions like, do you want to rock hard? Of course, all of us want to have a good time. So rhetorical question. Rhetorical questions are not so that you answer them. They are so that you engage with them and think about it. Like, would I like to be part of such a fabulous party? Would I want to have a body like the lady in the previous picture? Of course you would. And they've gotten your attention. And then the font and a catchy headline. Okay, now you'll notice that some of the things I'm teaching you about, I haven't necessarily included on the slide in terms of the picture. So I've chosen certain elements to highlight to you how the AIDA principle latches onto one another, and then ultimately the idea of persuasive techniques. Because when you write exams, you are going to be asked 8 marks on persuasive techniques and 2 on language. Please bear that in mind, 8 marks on persuasive techniques. So go and study your AIDA principle. Right, the next one, sustaining interest. When I looked at this, I thought, wow, that car, men and women, my interest is there. Okay? Visual technique. When I looked at the woman, I thought, like, look at those white teeth. Look at those beautiful lips. Look at the lipstick. Look at the skin. All things that a woman would want. So now they've got your interest. They haven't even had to say anything. okay? They've just used visual techniques, but they can also use verbal techniques or linguistic techniques, like in the previous picture where they said hard rock, the previous one, 25%, join us, do this, okay? So now they've got your interest and they are sustaining your interest. So now, and what is that all about? It is making sure that the consumer, you, the target audience, wants to read further. They urge you to read further, because now I'm thinking, now why are they showing that car? Can I buy it? Can I rent it? Is it in Cape Town? Are they, what is this all about? Okay, so now, interest, and they've got me. Then, there are visual and verbal clues, okay, in cartoons and in ads. So we are working with ads. So cartoons, in your ad, you can have a cartoon, a little picture. You can have graphs, stats, layouts, diagrams. What are those for? They give you extra information. They might actually be part of the body copy. Do you know what body copy is, grade 12? I'm sure your teachers told you, but I am going to remind you. It's normally the little bit of extra information that they give you in addition to the picture. Okay, so those might be in the form of cartoons, graphs, stats, layouts, and diagrams. That's where your extra information will be. Verbal, this is now still them getting your interest. Remember that now, we're still talking about the previous slide. Catchy headlines, rhetorical questions, slogans. Emotive language. What is emotive language? I'm going to come back to that. Alliteration and puns, opinions, status, facts, and jargon. These are all advertising techniques. But now, this one, emotive language, is important to me because it again latches onto the idea of the AIDA principle and getting you to go through that process and ultimately buying the product. Because remember, why are people advertising a product? Because they want people to spend money on it. So what are they going to do? They are going to appeal to our emotions. They're going to say, you will be great if you do this. Women will love you if you wear this. Men will fall over their feet if you do it a particular way. So they personalize that ad, okay? And they speak to you and say that if you use our product, you can be this great. Emotive. How do they do it? What do they say? Come on, man. They draw you in, okay? And it is by means of the AIDA principle. So the emotive and persuasive techniques will run throughout the ad, okay? And you cannot always necessarily break it up. So in terms of the font that is used in an ad, let's just go and look at this picture. Desire. Okay, this is now the third one in the AIDA principle. The veiled promise that your needs will be met and desires fulfilled. So if you look at this, you're a family man, okay, or woman, your parents, and you've got a son, you've got the house, you can see this is your whole nuclear idea. And look at the size of the son's teddy bear. And what do they say? New Caddy Maxi Life, infinitely bigger. Nobody's really going to drive around with a teddy bear that size, okay? Nobody. But if you are a parent of a child and that child has this favorite toy, you'd like the option, thinking like, how am I going to tell this child this teddy can't go with me? They're saying, you don't have to. VW is making a caddy big enough for that. Now the desire is there. But can you understand from attention to interest to desire? Every time it's a little bit of persuasion and a little bit of emotion added onto that idea to drive you to the ultimate idea of purchasing this product. Okay? And different products will focus on different things. Like this one here is focusing on the desire. I want my children to be able to take all their toys, because if they can take their toys, they're not going to bother me on the road. Okay, so that idea, it's saying so much more than this is a big car. It's saying your child will be quiet, your child will be happy, you will be happy, you will be able to concentrate, you'll be able to listen to your music. And ultimately, again, your child will be happy. So desire. So understand that in ads, you might not have all the elements all of the time, but you should be able to identify any four of them and look at the one that is most being used to sell the product. Okay, right. The last way, what they like to do is they like to say, eventually you now need to go out and you need to buy that product. But, admitted people, we all like to pay a little bit less. So if they say things like, buy one, get one free, limited quantity, then we're thinking, I need to go now. I need to go and buy that. Okay, limited time only, giving you free gifts like the makeup. They like to give you like a little small tester, and you feel like I scored so big on this. You know, you feel as if you've saved your money somehow. And they also give you the idea of payment plans, which is basically just credit. Okay, so now this idea of saying that it's on sale, of saying that you're going to pay less, of saying that you have a longer time. What are they ultimately saying? They are saying that it's affordable. They are saying that no matter who you are, you can go out and you can get this product. It's available to you. Okay, but remember, who is the person or who are the people they are aiming the ad at? Okay, not everyone, let's just go back to this ad. Not everyone can afford to buy that car. Okay, so there are certain people in a certain bracket, financial bracket, who can afford that. So when you look at the ad, don't think to yourself, but I can't afford that. You put yourself into the shoes of somebody who can. And now you ask yourself, is this a good ad? Are you with me? You cannot say, your responses are not going to be based on personal experience. Your responses are going to be based on your role as the target audience, as the market that this is aimed at. That is where your responses come from. So if you are asked the question in terms of how do they show that this car is good for a big family? Then visual, the boy has a teddy bear bigger than him. Verbal, they say the car is infinitely larger. Those are emotive techniques. That's persuasive language. Okay, visual and verbal, it's all in that picture. If you are able to identify at grade 12, you are one step closer to getting 10 out of 10 for this section. The other 2 marks I'd like to mention for advertising will come from language in action. So they'll ask you a question about punctuation or tense or concord or grammar. Okay, the type of questions that one would expect in question 5. You're going to get 2 of those, or 2 marks, in your advertising question and another 2 marks in your cartoon. The rest, the further 8 marks, I cannot reiterate this enough. Persuasive techniques, emotive language. Advertising wants you to buy a product, so they are going to use persuasive techniques. Cartoons, which is another presentation I'm going to do, obviously is emotive language, because they're making fun or they're telling a story, so they use emotion for us to be part of it. Anyway, let's just go back to this one. So when you see all of these things, you're thinking, I can totally afford it. So what does it do? It gets you to go over into action. It pushes you over that edge of, can I, can't I, should I, shouldn't I? Because look here, it's on sale, it's a huge sale, it's free, you can afford it, we'll give you credit, it's payment plans. You know, so let me just tell you a personal experience. When I go, and I love shopping online, when I go online and I see a product where they say on offer, I immediately click on that one. And I'm way more likely to buy that product than the one without the sticker that says on offer. Okay? Because we're already doing this thing. We're already spending our money. So we want to feel that we are getting value for our money. So we are going to look for that. And when we see things like sale and bargain and payment plans, then immediately that takes us one step closer to feeling able to afford it. Okay? And ultimately, that is the point of those types of messages. Right. Now, in an ad, the language will be informal. Do you know why? Because if it's formal language, then it's not going to speak to the people on the other end of it. Remember, your target audience, you cannot speak to them in a formal fashion because they're your friends. They're the people that's going to buy your stuff. So you have to get them on your side. So how do you do that? You speak informally with what? Simple words, simple vocabulary, you know? Not big words that people have to think like, oh, I don't know what that means. You want to look at what's written there and you want to know, oh, they're saying it's fabulous, it's big, it's a caddy, it's hard rock. Simple language, guys. The sentences are simple. You're not going to have a paragraph. You'll often have short, succinct sentences that tell you about this product in such a way that you cannot misinterpret it. Simple. You must understand it, because what must you do? You must say, Mommy, let's go and buy those shoes. Let's buy the perfume. Let's get this. Okay? Then the grammar, also informal. Okay, so they are going to use a more relaxed way when they do this. Also, there will be slang and colloquialisms. Okay, so those are two perfect examples of informal language, because when we think about the hard rock ad again, we're gonna rock on. You know, that's something that you would say in an informal environment. It is a slang term, but we all know what it means. So advertisers are allowed to use that, okay? And in fact, they do it so that we feel more connected to the product. Because think about your literature text. As soon as you see your literature text and the way in which it's written, very well written, but it doesn't really speak to you, and it loses your interest. And we have to shout and scold and scream, and we have to beg and plead for you to be able to interact with that. Now, an ad doesn't have the time to do that, okay? But the purpose of it is so much more urgent. You need to buy this product. You need to do this thing. You need to have this experience. You need to go to this place. So they are going to speak to you as if you are friends, okay? They are going to, the language in the ad is going to be so that there will be no two ways about you understanding what's being sold and how you can ultimately get to it. Okay, so even the fact that the language is informal is persuasive, because if you don't have to figure things out, it makes it that much more simple, and you connect to the product. They're also going to use words, okay, that will speak to you. So they say, literally, they will say the word you. They will say the word we. So with the advertiser, the audience, they are together in this thing. Okay, and they will speak about the types of words that they will use depending on the product will be words that convince you that these things will be true for you. So if we look at, I just want to go back to this this picture here. If you look at the picture there, then you're thinking, wow, beautiful. So those are the types of words they will use: beautiful, sexy, young, youthful. You know, if you look at those, the car, words like successful, fast, speedy, masculine. Okay, so those are the types of words that they will use. Okay, now the words are also emotive. Okay, so as much as they are simple, they are emotive. So think about what I just said. I said sexy, masculine, fast, beautiful. Those are simple words, but emotive words. Who doesn't want to be sexy? Who doesn't want to drive a fast car? Who doesn't want to be beautiful or masculine or handsome? So the word choices. Now that is why it is not always easy, guys, to separate it. Okay, because advertising from beginning to end is an experience of your emotion. If you see an ad right at the beginning and it doesn't grab your attention, then you're not even looking anymore. Okay? Even if it's not something that you want to buy. I know that there's this ad currently on TV. I think it's they're advertising food. And it's all these people who are sweating in the desert. And the ad is so funny for me that I actually want to go and try these people's food. Just because of the creativity that has gone into it. So it's funny. It has done something to capture my attention. And remember that although the ad you're going to see is a print ad, you can use these same things when you are watching an ad on TV. And then you can identify these things, and then those pictures will link, and you'll be able to marry the idea of the AIDA principle and a good advert. Right. Also, I said it's emotive. So it appeals to emotions rather than the intellect. Okay? What does that mean? They don't want you to think too much. They're not saying, you will now have an IQ of 160. No, that's not what they're going to say. They are going to appeal to your emotion. They are going to say to you, if you take biostrath, you have the opportunity to do very well at school. So that's your emotion. Who doesn't want school to be easier? Are you with me? So they are not saying to you, it is going to make you smart and give you an IQ of. They're going to say to you, it presents you with the opportunity to be successful, to do well, to be calm at school, to understand things better. So those are our emotions at play, because we all want to feel that. And that is what the advertiser is appealing to, okay? Okay, then persuasive uses repetition, rhetorical questions, and exaggeration. Now, we all know with ads that it is not true. We are not suddenly going to join a gym and look like that lady. We are not suddenly going to be able to afford that car and now attract all the people in the world. Okay, so exaggeration is key. But why do you think it works? I'll tell you why it works. Because it is a persuasive technique. It speaks to our emotions. We want it to be true. We know it's not, but we accept it because it promises us something that we want, that we desire. Okay. Now, ultimately, when you are looking at an ad, you need to know these things. Okay? You need to know, because these are questions that you can be asked in different ways. But before you are asked the questions, you need to analyze the ad. How do you do that? What do you look at? What's being advertised? Is it a product? Is it a service? Is it an idea? What is it that's being advertised? Identify that, right? I've put these here just so that you can have an idea of how to analyze the ad. Who is the service provider? What is the slogan? And I love that idea of just do it. That's the slogan for Nike. The logo is the tick. McDonald's, I'm loving it. What is the logo? The M, the arches of the M, okay? Why are the words repeated? We've said that it's for emphasis. Who will buy or use the advertised product? So who's the target audience, okay? And then, is the visual suitably linked to the advertisement? So, does the picture, remember the Hard Rock picture? Does Hard Rock Cafe and that fork, is there a connection? If there is, Bob's your uncle, successful ad. And then how do we contact them? Remember I spoke about body copy, so they'll often give you information and say contact details, website, telephone number, postal address. They'll give you that information. And then what makes it a good or a bad ad? Have all those things been met? Yes or no? Okay, so you need to understand the ad. And this is what you use to understand the ad. I'm going to conclude now, but I've got one more slide to share with you. Okay, so if you look at this, these are two ads. So there is literal, and if you look at what's written in the side, literal and figurative language, the setting of the ad, what is the hidden message, how does it make you feel? So it appeals to your emotions. Literal and figurative language, there you've got denotation and connotation in terms of what are they talking about? The literal meaning of the word or the figurative meaning of the word, okay? But remember, keep it at the back of your mind. Everything about advertising, speaking to your emotions, getting you to do whatever they are advertising. In this instance, it is to stop smoking. Are you going to stop smoking with the threat of death? Well, we hope that you would, but we all know that people don't really. But that's a pretty good ad. Like it makes you pause and think like, I don't want to be cool like that. I don't want to be cool in a morgue. It's true, smoking really does make you cool. Very catchy. The headline is very catchy. Because like, the guy's in a morgue, he's dead. But why? Because of smoking. So instead of being cool, well, that cigarette is cool in the morgue. Are you with me? Literal, figurative. The setting, very good setting because it's a morgue, it's scary, I don't want to die. Who's the target audience? All people who smoke. So this is how those things get put together, okay? How does the advertiser make you feel? The advertiser makes me feel like I want to think twice about smoking because no, I don't want me to be that person in the picture. Are you with me? So that's how you analyze it based on the words that I've given you previously. In this one, I pledge to choose my taxi by its tires, not the sound. Why? We all know that taxis, and I'm not talking about Uber and all those other car taxis, I'm talking about the minibus taxis. You drive along and you feel your car go whoo, whoo, and you're thinking, what is that? It is the sound. This guy is saying, no, I am putting the safety of those in my taxi first. The passenger's safety. And how am I going to guarantee their safety? I pledge to choose it by its tires. So we're thinking, I don't want to, it's a cool taxi, but I'd rather be safe. So is the use of the word pledge instead of promise, so that's how it sounds, is it better? Why pledge? Because promise, I promise to be there forever, I promise to give you this, promise to do that, promise. But pledge is a lot more grave, a lot more serious, you know, like you mean it. And then what is the hidden message? Yeah, how does it make you feel? The same questions as above. So what do you need to do, guys? You need to take these ads, you need to take the entire slide, and you are now allowed to go and take it and then adopt it so that, or adopt it, yes, so that you use it to go and study advertising. Remember what I said, 8 questions on persuasive technique and emotive language, and 2 questions on language. I trust that this is going to help you. All the best for your exams at the end of the year. Thank you.